All right, thinking of playing La Bataille d'Orthez. This is a really charming game. Not sure how else to put it. And it's not the map. I should probably say now, I'm really not a fan of this art style. Yeah, just not. I don't really want to go into. I know that it's popular, but not for me. You know, I make do with this map art style. The units, I do find the units interesting because I am told that they're supposed to be based on uniforms, historical uniforms. So to that extent, I do find it interesting. But again, it's not that. I think when I say charming, I think it's the detail in the design, which is obviously a dedicated group of players behind the design over time. So I think that's where it comes from. The other thing that I wanted to say is this design does seem to, or I guess now I can see glimpses of the idea that it does reward a deep study, deep study. Reminds me more of a Go type game, very broadly speaking, than I had an example. I'll say chess, but I had another example in mind earlier for what I meant. No, ASL. Yeah, believe it or not, or oddly enough, this does not strike me as ASL like. Again, very broadly speaking, but this strikes me more as Go like, meaning the rules really aren't that complicated, but when you put them together, that's what creates the payoff for deep study. So when I was browsing the rules since last play, I was reminded of all those little. These rules do have rules tucked away there that you have to remember. Yeah, but I'm just gonna charge on, and I do think so. My British forces moved up. I'm gonna bring one or more of these guys on as reinforcements. So one of the questions I have is when and how do I bring on reinforcements? As far as the French reacting at all to this movement, I think it's a pretty hard rule. Defensive fire and opportunity fire are only at range 1. So there should be, I mean, my British skirmishers stopped one hex short of the French skirmishers there. So that's that. I went through the oh no, never mind. The enemies of the revolution always come after the liberators of the oppressed. Right. Okay. So over here, we started at 8:40, so we're going to 9 o'clock. That's an hour turn. So we have the combined, or what do you want to call it, mutual command phase. So first thing for me to do is review command in the PME rules. So command sequence. There's a mutual sequence to commence the turn where both sides check their individual movement duration allocation. What I'm doing is basically each video is going to be one side's movement duration allocation. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah, that's contrived for learning right now. And then identify reinforcements. So I have Beresford. So here's Beresford. going to review his... Well, I know the numbers there on his backside. So that's his front side, 0 increments, 9 movement. I know these are his, basically his artillery, cavalry, and infantry modifiers, and then I think maybe his morale modifier. All right, I guess I'll verify. Okay, for the leader, and if they don't have one of these values, there'll be a dash there. But upper left is the melee modifier. Bottom left is the cavalry modifier, so 1 in this case. Top right is the attack dice of artillery. So artillery modifier, Beresford has 1. And then bottom right is the morale check modifier. Yeah, so it's I guess we'll go clockwise from top right. Beresford has 1 for artillery modifier, down to 3 for morale modifier, across to 1 for cavalry modifier, up to 3 for infantry melee modifier. Now, I've got Beresford's ADC as aide-de-camp here. He's supposed to come on now, so I'll look later about what the significance is of these, in game terms, of these ADCs. But so I've got Beresford's ADC, and then 4 units here. Artillery unit, 2 infantry, and a light infantry. And I think these guys are Portuguese. The others, I'm not sure, but those are my reinforcements for the turn. So that is part of the command sequence. Morale levels are checked at the hour, so we're at the 9 o'clock hour here. When all these actions have concluded, then we move to the Imperial sequence, then the Coalition sequence. Yeah, so I figured that the command would not be extensive, and it really is not. In the Premier rules, PME rules, command is really the timed movement allocation. So that's that. So the French go first. I am not gonna. Oh no, wait. Now we have the regular fire. So I do think that the if I can, I am going to have my French skirmishers here, 4 increments of light infantry here in skirmisher formation. I am going to have them fire if they can. Go ahead and mention this in passing since I'm going to go right by, but defensive fire phase does come before offensive fire phase. So we're in the French player turn, so the Allied, the Coalition defensive fire would come first, but defensive fire is only, it must be made at adjacent units. I was wondering if my British skirmisher infantry here could fire first, but they can't. Even though they have a range of 2, defensive fire is only 1 phase, 1 hex. Defensive fire is only at adjacent targets. So now we can go on to the French offensive fire, which should be my French infantry, light infantry, and skirmisher formation. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my French infantry, or my light infantry and skirmisher formation there fire at this British light infantry and skirmish formation. Yeah. Now, I just found in the rule, I know I'm refining it, but these things, I don't see these things separated out, so I know I'm refining it. Fire at 2 hexes is halved, so glad I caught that in time. So I guess the fire value is 4, because the fire value is 8, halved for 4 out to 2 hexes there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll for the, yeah, okay, so roll a 15. All right, so he's not going to get anything. So he's not going to do anything, so I'm not going to compute everything. But I am going to, well, I'm going to remind myself. I'm going to see if I need to remind myself of anything. But I did roll first 15. He's not going to get a result. All right, so just a few things. He definitely didn't get a result. However, I do need to remember these fire multiples. So I do think that this is French light infantry in skirmish formation should be times 3 right there. So it's actually 4. It's half of the firepower. 4 times 3 is 12. Let's see, if they had had their full firepower, 8 times 3, 24. Yeah, okay, it still would have needed, I'm doing really quick math here, still would have needed basically a 42 or higher. And I also want to point out, it does have it. Here it is. Rifle armed units do not have their, oh, I'm sorry. Only infantry with a range of 2 may employ skirmish order. Only when they are in skirmish order may they use skirmish multiples. So that's correct. Okay, never mind. But rifle armed units. I wonder. How do I determine rifled armed units? Well, down here are these half increment rifle units I was thinking of. So how do I know that's a rifle unit? Oh, maybe it's in the game specific rules. But this, oh no, there's rifle. All right, so you have the word rifle. So this is a Brunswick 1/2 increment rifle company. And they're explained right here when I was wondering what to do with them. So I guess I'll go over them now. These, and I'll review them when they come up again. These units are least skirmishers that do not fire normally, but, when added to a firing stack, increase the likelihood of an enemy leader casualty. Instead of needing to roll a natural, 65, 66, the leader's casualty is caused on unmodified 63 or greater. In order to claim this bonus, the rifleman must be the top of the stack and therefore most vulnerable to return fire. Okay, so these are really a supplemental type unit. Yeah, they are. Oh well. So I guess they probably shouldn't be out there on their own out front. So yeah.